Fall is almost here, but we've got one more show here for the summertime. Thanks for being here on LCJ Live. We're in the fall movie season, and technically it's the third week, and we have a number one movie that is the same as last week, and none of the new releases could do it. Could top Demon Slayer. That's right. Infinity Castle, number one, $17.3 million. It's a big drop from last weekend's 70 million bucks, but still, it's the power of animation, the power of anime, and now it's apparently the highest grossing anime movie of all time globally with over $559 million, which is really stellar. $105 million domestically makes it the first fully animated movie of 2025 to earn over $100 million domestically. It is rare for us to get to September and finally accomplish this. But here we are. Dogman had 98 million for DreamWorks earlier this year. DreamWorks this week has Gabby's Dollhouse the movie, which is a live-action CG combo. They're second this year after the How to Train Your Dragon film. We had How to Train Your Dragon, a Minecraft movie, and Lilo and Stitch are among the top grossing movies of the year, but all of them are live-action CG animation combos. In terms of fully animated movies, Bad Guys 2 has made 80 million, Elio 73 million, Dogman 98, King of Kings 60, but finally it's Demon Slayer that is the first fully animated over 100 million. But Gabby's Dollhouse, the movie, opens this week. I have seen it. I can't share opinion, but I can share my interview with director Ryan Craigo tomorrow at lcj.podbean.com and animationscoop.com. Great conversation with him. It's his third appearance on the LCJ Q&A. He's done a lot of shows and films over the years, including Arlo the Alligator Boy. And we talk about this adaptation to the big screen for Gabby's Dollhouse, featuring Kristen Wiig and a lot of visuals and a lot of different aspects of the movie. So we get into all of that. That is one of the big releases coming out this coming weekend, along with Paul Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another, June Squibb in Eleanor the Great, and The Strangers Chapter 2. We'll get into more of those movies coming up on LCJ Live. Send in your questions and your comments. Your number two movie is Him. $13.5 million. The projections kept going down for this horror football movie over the course of the weekend. Made $2 million Thursday, another $4.5 million Friday, 4.3 yesterday, and an estimate of just $2.7 million today from Universal for Him. The reviews have not been great. I will try to catch up on this at some point, but not a very strong weekend for Him. Sam B. Russell, will One Battle be a hit? It was an expensive investment for Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers on such a hot streak. In fact, The Conjuring Last Rites in third this weekend with 13 million. That's so close to the 13.5 million of Him. We could actually see a swap tomorrow. Him goes lower, Conjuring goes higher. Conjuring could end up in second place. The Conjuring has made 151.2 million. It is now the fifth biggest Warner Brothers film of the year, passing Weapons. I think One Battle After Another will be the number one movie next weekend, unless no one really wants to go and Strangers Chapter 2 gets some momentum. And Gabby's Dollhouse, I think, will do all right. I don't think it'll be number one. I think that'll go to One Battle After Another. In terms of it being a hit, I mean, we all thought this time 2 years ago that Martin Scorsese, with DiCaprio and De Niro again in Killers of the Flower Moon, was going to do a lot better than it did. Remember, it only opened at 23 million and totaled 65, I think, somewhere around there. That was a really long movie. One Battle After Another, not quite as long, but still 2 hours and 42 minutes. That's pretty long. If people know that going in, or they wait for it for HBO Max, that will be very interesting. I think it'll make some money. The reviews have been very positive so far, but we'll see how it does this coming weekend. Number 4, Downton Abbey. The grand finale dropped 65%, just 6.3 million this weekend. It's at 31.6. First Downton Abbey movie opened to $31 million, totaled at this same point 58.4. A New Era from 2022 had a 64% drop, was at 28 million at this point, totaled 44. I don't think the grand finale, unfortunately, is going to get to 50 million domestically. It may even struggle to get past 40. We'll have to see what happens during the week. But this is really unfortunate because I love these two Downton Abbey sequels. They are two of the best ensemble drama movies of the 2020s. Premium formats could help one battle after another for sure. I got to mention why Jennifer Aniston, Rachel with a cat, is here on today's episode of LCJ Live. Not only Cats with Gabby's Dollhouse coming out, but the morning show season 4 has started on Apple TV Plus. I have screened 9 of the 10 episodes. That was provided to critics in advance. I've shared a few thoughts on social media. More of my thoughts, spoiler free, and I really can't say a whole lot, coming up of the morning show season 4 coming up here on LCJ Live. I think the next chapter of Downton Abbey would be a next generation television show. I think we're done with movies. Pete Crooks loves one battle after another. Huge box office and Oscar nominations to come. Do you know we're still 4 months away from Oscar nominations? How insane is that? And the show itself isn't until middle of March. Way too long. This award season is way too long. You know, if you think something's a lock, well, guess what? 4 months from now, it may not end up on the ballot. So you just never know, but we'll have to see what happens. Number 5, this weekend, basically a tie with Downton Abbey for 4th. The Long Walk added 6.3 million. It's at 22.7. Number 6, oh boy, Big Bold Beautiful Journey, which is a big bold disaster. And you know why it is? Because it's a terrible film and it only made 3.5 million this weekend. I saw it on Thursday. It was a private showing. I was the only one there. It really it's one of those movies. Listen, I'm all for a good romance. I'm all for a fantasy film, even, you know, movies that take chances and you have to think about it, and there's emotional angles, and movies that reflect on your life. But it joins movies like The Life of Chuck and The Greatest Hits, and here, 3 films from the last 18 months that had intrigue, potential, interesting premise, but very, very, very messy, consistently messy, dreary, and doesn't all add up and doesn't all make sense. My favorite of the 4, I like the last third-ish of The Life of Chuck, but there are still a lot of problems with it. But all these movies, the case of A Big Bold Beautiful Journey, not only are Margot Robbie and Colin Farrell both miscast, they don't have good chemistry. Their dialogue is terrible. It's very much too much of an artistic vision that they try to make up for. And then the last section of it, it was like putting me to sleep. I mean, it's just really some bizarre choices, even for a fantasy romance movie. Some bizarre choices, and just throwing way too much at us and asking us to feel emotionally invested in every step of the way. Couldn't get there. I got there with other movies I'll tell you about in a minute, but wow, Big Bold Beautiful Journey, not a good film. Fanimator 101, supposed to get a new Zootopia 2 trailer this week. All right, that would be fun. I'm looking forward to Zootopia 2. That, of course, will be another animated movie that makes over $100 million domestically. Christian Kozlowski, bummer, because I thought After Yang was excellent. After Yang was a movie I was into early, and then it fell apart for me and didn't do a lot in the second half. But I would say After Yang had a better start. Even the start of this Big Bold Beautiful Journey, just, oh boy. There's Phoebe Waller-Bridge and Kevin Kline, and what it tries to say and do. And yeah, no, this is a complete miss. Complete miss. If I had to, out of those 4 movies I'm telling you about, what's the most offensive? The most offensive, I think, is Here, because I think Here is the most manipulative. The Life of Chuck is sort of the most successful. The Greatest Hits is the one I was mad about the most because I really thought that was going to be something. And then this movie is just, it's a dud. And I mean, I had 8 million for a prediction, and then after I saw the movie on Thursday, my prediction went down to 4.5, and here we are at $3.5 million. Number 7 is The Senior. I screened this about a month ago. Michael Chiklis football drama, just $2.8 million. Really corny movie. You know, sometimes Angel Studios makes good movies. This one, no. It's really sappy. It does some conveniences with the story and the timeline and goofy elements. No, you need sophistication, and there is not nearly enough sophistication in The Senior. Number 8 this weekend is the re-release of Toy Story, which added 1.4 million. It's at 5.9. Number 9 is Noah Live with 1.4 million. And rounding out your top 10 this weekend is Weapons, which added 1.3 million. It's just shy of 150 million bucks for Warner Brothers. Like I said, Conjuring overtook it for top 5 of the year. Freakier Friday added 1.1 million. It's at 92.9. The History of Sound didn't do a lot in expansion, just 320,000. Hamilton's up to 16.5 million for Disney. As I mentioned, The Bad Guys 2 over 80 million domestically, 208 worldwide. The re-release of Apollo 13 in IMAX did about 600,000 in about 200 theaters. And we don't have the money on Waltzing with Brando, which, if you're a Billy Zane fan and you're curious about his performance as Marlon Brando, I say go see it. I don't love the movie. There's a lot of problems. John Heder, the comedy, but focus on Brando, focus on Billy Zane, and it's a good performance. Waltzing with Brando in theaters now. We don't have the money on that, or Zeno, and Afterburn, which was with Dave Bautista, along with the next second weekend of Spinal Tap 2. Don't have the money on that yet. Sam B. Russell, have you seen Weapons? I have not. I have not seen a handful of films. Been watching other things. You know, I watched The Lost Bus last night. I watched Swiped on Friday. I like both of them. I'll tell you more about them in a second. Just catching up on other things, doing other things, projects, a TV announcement I've got coming next week, which is exciting. So, yes, a lot of other things happening, and I've been watching The Morning Show Season 4. But I will be checking out one battle after another this week. I screened Gabby's Dollhouse, the movie. So, a lot of other films and some other films I can't tell you about yet. But I'll catch up on Weapons probably at some point. Sean Penn, yeah, we'll see what happens with Sean Penn. Do you know, remember, when you think about Sean Penn, he was not guaranteed to win either of the Oscars that he won. Could have gone to Bill Murray, could have gone to Mickey Rourke. Went to Sean Penn both times. Those were both interesting awards seasons. So let me tell you about some of the movies, and then I will get to the morning show season 4. Have you heard of the next movie The Rock and Benny Safdie are making? I did hear about that. And Smashing Machine is hopefully going to be very good, with The Rock and Emily Blunt coming out in a couple weeks. So this week, as I mentioned, Gabby's Dollhouse, the movie, interview with Ryan Craigo tomorrow. And then I can share more opinion on it later this week. I've seen Eleanor the Great. It's June Squibb, who is great in the movie. She has the best dialogue, the best character out of everyone in the movie. You know, the way she delivers lines, both the comedic lines and the emotional ones, she's very good. If you love June Squibb, it's a good performance, and it's a better movie than Thelma, which I thought was just ridiculously ridiculous. But when it comes to this script of Eleanor the Great, there were a lot of things that frustrated me about it. Some of it works, and some of it, especially towards the end, doesn't fully come together. So Scarlett Johansson gets a great performance out of June Squibb, but I would have had a script rewrite or two to tighten things, to fix things, to make things work better than it does. There are little annoying things about it here and there in terms of your impact of it. But if you're a June Squibb fan, she is very good in Eleanor the Great. Also out this week, Apple TV Plus, All of You with Brett Goldstein and Imogen Poots. The Strangers Chapter 2, and of course, One Battle After Another in the theaters. Swiped. I watched Friday night. It's on Hulu now. I highly recommend it. It's about Whitney Wolfe, who worked at Tinder, went to Bumble. What a story. A heck of a story. And Lily James is fantastic. You know, she didn't get a great role in Relay, but when Lily James gets a very good role, she is excellent. I mean, I remember seeing her in the Cinderella movie 10 years ago and going, wow, here's a star. And she's had some very good performances over the years, Pam and Tommy as well, and other films. This is very good. You're with her emotionally every step of the way. It's a knockout performance in a movie that's just good storytelling. A very interesting saga, well told, not overly complicated, not too overly dramatic, only in a couple little places. There's little surprises with the story, there's surprise actor appearances, and it's like Social Network for a new generation. It does things better when it comes to commentary on dating than Materialist does from earlier this year. So I like this movie, Swiped. Check it out on Hulu. And then last night I watched The Lost Bus. Wow. Not a perfect movie. I have problems with McConaughey's character, the things they changed from the real guy, Kevin, in real life, that they made in the movie. There's a lot of extensive stuff about his personal life and the struggles with the mother and the father and the dog and the son and the ex-wife and all of that. We didn't need hardly any of that. We didn't need any of that. We could have just had him focused on the bus the whole time and all of that. They changed some things and it didn't fully work for me, but the visual effects are outstanding. How Greengrass did what he did with the fires and everything, wow. And America Ferrera is good, and McConaughey is good. I just wish the movie was a little tighter, could have been shorter, and I do applaud the fire chief storyline. That to me is actually the more compelling storyline. Is the fire chief storyline. You'll understand it when you watch it on Apple TV Plus October 3rd. It is in select theaters now and expanding next weekend. The fire chief storyline gets an A for me, pretty much. Everything else, it's like a B minus. So I average it out to a B. But the visual effects are outstanding. The performances are there. There are some very authentic scenes and some well-written scenes, and then some of it gets a little schmaltzy and other things could have been a little grittier in some of the other decisions it makes. So it is Greengrass's best movie since Captain Phillips. I like 22 July. This is a better movie. Was not a fan of the 2016 Jason Bourne. Was not a real fan of News of the World. This is his best since Captain Phillips. A film that I also liked but didn't think was perfect. So I don't think Paul Greengrass is the greatest filmmaker, but if you're a fan of his, he does what you want him to do. He puts you in the situation, it's immersive, and it's very procedural with how the day unfolds, but compelling, especially with the fire chief aspect. On the bus, there's a lot there. Some of it works, some of it doesn't. That is The Lost Bus. Let's see. Lily James is great in Mamma Mia too. Yes. Is Sinners a drama or a musical comedy? Oh, in terms of what's going to be put up for the awards, got to be a drama. Because even though the musical part is there is some music in it, no, that's good. Everybody's going to react to if it gets in comedy musical as that. So no, that doesn't feel right. Sinners is a drama. All right, let me tell you about the morning show season 4. So I've screened the first 9 of the 10 episodes. They appear one a week on Apple TV Plus. What I can say about the morning show season 4 is this. I have been with this show since the beginning. I watched the first 3 episodes in November 2019. When COVID started, I came back to it. And then season 2 and 3, every 2 years we get a season. Now here we are with 4. Apple's already renewed it for season 5. And what I can say is this. This is a season that is very much a soap opera, even more than ever before. And it's all about the interpersonal relationships and that drama. And there's very little about TV news itself, and there's very little about the morning show itself. Episode 4 of this season is great because it is about the morning show, and it is juicy and entertaining and dramatic in effective ways, not schmaltzy, sappy, ridiculous, oh my gosh, what are they doing ways, which a lot of the first couple episodes are. And then once you get from episode 5, like I said, through 9, everything just spirals out of control. It's out of control, as Regis used to say. So it doesn't make it enjoyable. It's frustrating. You think you know where some of it's going, and it does, and then other stuff you just go, really? Because I thought that the end of season 3 felt like a series finale of the morning show, the way it ended. But then they got an early season 4 renewal, and they had to go, all right, what do we do with these characters now? And now we're going to get season 5. Now, I haven't seen the 10th episode yet. That's the one they're still saving for critics for a little while longer. So I don't fully know how the season ends. But what I can say is that it's a lot of it is ridiculous. Too much of it is ridiculous. Every season has gotten more ridiculous, but this is really tipped the scale. And Billy Crudup still, the best character, the best performance, but even some of the things he has to go through this season, you go, ooh, really rough, some awkward things. You have new cast members like Marion Cotillard, Boyd Holbrook. There's some elements involving both of them that are not very successful. Jeremy Irons plays her father. Jennifer Aniston's father, and he's in the first episode, which I watched a while back, so I believe it's episode 1, which has aired. Interesting dynamic of the two of them. I can't really say more about him because I can't give away certain things towards the end yet. But yeah, it's not great. I'm gonna stick with the show. I'm looking forward to what happens in the finale. But a lot of it just feels like we had to come up with stuff because we thought we were done, and it's not up to par. It's not. Yeah. All right. That's my thoughts on the morning show season 4. It's on Apple TV Plus. New episode every Wednesday through the middle to the end of November. And once I screen episode 10 and I'm able to talk about that, I'll let you know. That may not be till closer to when it airs. Like I said, this week, Gabby's Dollhouse, the movie interview, and I'll be seeing one battle after another and more. For my thoughts, more of my thoughts on Swiped and The Lost Bus and some of the other movies I've seen already, go to X at LCJ Reviews and more. Lights-camera-jackson.com, Instagram at lightscamjackson, toofast2films.com, lcj.podbean.com, animationscoop.com. As I mentioned, a TV announcement coming next week on something very cool I got to do that will finally be airing, so I'll get to talk about that. And more, we will preview the box office for The Smashing Machine and the return of Taylor Swift to movie theaters. Already 15 million in pre-sales. So it's going to be another big October weekend for Taylor Swift, just like it was 2 years ago. They are going to make Incredibles 3, according to Pixar, so we'll see what happens there. We'll see if Michael B. Jordan gets nominated or wins, and we'll see what happens with the end of the morning show, season 4, and into season 5. We'll see what happens with all of that. Yeah, Taylor Swift movie is going to make a lot of money, and it's shorter than the last one, so that means more show times per theater. Thanks for being here for today's episode of LCJ Live. Thanks for watching. Have a good week. Have a good Sunday. Fly, Eagles, fly, and I'll see you next time on LCJ Live. Bye-bye.